Have you ever watched a woman's heart break right in front of hundreds of smiling faces? If you stay with me till the end, you'll understand why the groom did what no one expected, and how one woman's dignity changed every life in that room forever. It was supposed to be the happiest day of Tessa Langford's life. The grand hall of the Rosewood estate glimmered with white roses, crystal chandeliers, and tables laid with the finest china. The guests, an audience of wealthy socialites and distant relatives, sipped champagne and whispered about the bride in her simple, second-hand gown. They said she looked cheap. They wondered how a man like Daniel Whitaker, a rising corporate star, could have chosen her when he could have had anyone. But no one knew the truth about Tessa. Tessa's father, once a successful contractor, had lost everything to a business partner's betrayal. Her mother's health declined under the weight of unpaid bills and worry. By 23, Tessa had become her mother's caregiver, working 2 jobs to keep the lights on. She'd met Daniel when she delivered files to his office late one night. He was the only person who looked up and thanked her sincerely. And over time, their friendship grew into something more. Yet not everyone approved. Daniel's mother, Evelyn Whitaker, watched from her seat with a tight, triumphant smile. She had insisted the wedding be extravagant to show the difference between their worlds. To her, this was proof her son was making a mistake. She made no secret of her disdain, even telling Tessa that morning, "You'll never be enough for him." Still, Tessa held her head high as she walked down the aisle. She kept her gaze locked on Daniel's, his eyes full of love, even as the whispers buzzed behind her like angry bees. When the ceremony ended, the reception began with polite applause. But the insults soon turned sharper. "Did you see her dress? Looks like it came from a thrift shop," sneered a woman in a glittering silver gown. "I heard she's marrying him for the money," muttered a cousin, swirling his wine. Tessa tried to ignore them, but her hands trembled as she accepted congratulations that felt more like pity. She felt small, like she didn't belong in the hall she had been invited to as a guest of honor. Then came the moment she could never have prepared for. Evelyn stood to give a toast. The room fell silent. "I would like to welcome Tessa into our family," she began, her voice sugary sweet. "She has, certainly worked hard to get here. Though some of us wondered whether she was truly ready for this kind of life." She paused, letting the words sink in like daggers. "But perhaps Daniel sees something in her that we cannot." A ripple of laughter broke out among the guests. Tessa felt her face flush hot. She looked at Daniel, but he stared at his mother, his jaw clenched. Then Evelyn lifted her glass. "To Tessa. May she learn to fit in." The laughter turned into applause. Tessa swallowed back tears. For a moment, she thought about running, leaving that hall, leaving the man she loved, and never looking back. But Daniel took a step forward. "Enough," he said quietly. The chatter stopped. "Mother, you've had your say. Now I'll have mine." He turned to Tessa, taking her trembling hands in his. "When I met you," he said, voice strong enough to carry to every corner of the hall, "I was the one who needed saving. You taught me what it means to care about something more than yourself. You showed me that real love isn't built on status or money, it's built on sacrifice, and kindness, and trust." He glanced back at the crowd. "I won't stand here and pretend I'm proud of how everyone has treated her today. This isn't what family is supposed to be." Evelyn's face went pale. "Daniel." He raised his hand, silencing her. "I won't be part of this hypocrisy," he said, voice steady. He slipped the gold band off his finger and set it gently on the table between them. A shocked gasp filled the hall. Tessa's breath caught. "Daniel, what are you doing?" He looked into her eyes, and for the first time all day, she saw only honesty and peace. "I'm taking this ring off not because I don't love you," he said, his voice breaking. "But because I refuse to bind you to a life where you'll be mocked and diminished. You deserve better than this. If staying here means you'll be treated this way, I would rather set you free." A tear rolled down her cheek. "But I chose you," she whispered. "And I chose you," he said. "But I will never choose them over your dignity." For a moment, the room was silent, as if everyone had forgotten to breathe. Then Daniel picked up the microphone. "If any of you believe you have the right to judge the woman I love, I invite you to leave. Because I'm done pretending any of this matters more than her." One by one, guests shifted uncomfortably. Some got up and walked out, heads low. Others stayed, quiet, ashamed. Evelyn stood frozen, her glass shaking. Tessa felt something uncoil in her chest. She looked at Daniel, this man willing to lose everything rather than watch her be humiliated, and she knew she didn't want to walk away. She took the ring from the table and pressed it back into his palm. "I don't care if the whole world leaves," she said, her voice clear and strong. "I'm not going anywhere." Daniel pulled her close, and for the first time that day, the applause that rose around them wasn't hollow. It was real. Later, when most of the guests were gone, the remaining few gathered quietly around the couple, some offering apologies, some simply wanting to stand near the courage they had witnessed. And as the music started again, softer now, Daniel and Tessa took each other's hands and stepped onto the dance floor. They danced alone, in the middle of that vast hall, two people who had chosen love over appearances, truth over pretense. If you're still watching, remember this: no amount of wealth, tradition, or opinion should ever make you feel unworthy. The way you love and the way you stand by your convictions are what define you. If this story touched your heart, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more stories that remind us of what truly matters. And never forget, sometimes the most beautiful moments happen when you dare to stand alone together.